Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Everything Belize. I'm your host, Johnny Belize, and I'm joined today with Shawn McGowan, who was once formerly of New Jersey. Shawn, good morning.
Good morning.
So what parts of Jersey were you from?
So I was born and raised in Trenton, and then spent most of my time down south, moved to Tabernacle and stuff once I started working.
So let's talk about your decision. How did this whole Belize expat things, how did this all come about?
So ever since I was young, I wanted out of New Jersey. You know, there's some nice places in New Jersey, but all in all, I wanted something more tropical. And 20, 30 years ago, I was probably looking at Florida and Gulf Coast area, and prices started rising. Started looking at Costa Rica, but a lot of that is geared towards the Pacific side rather than the Caribbean side. I really like the Caribbean, so I've been to some islands like Aruba, St. Lucia, Puerto Rico. So looking at where I want to live, Belize kind of seemed to tick all the boxes. So I started taking a couple vacations here, and I just really fell in love with the place. It fit so well. English is the primary language. The money conversion is so simple. Being able to own land here is very simple. So it all works out, and I fell in love with the place, the people, the culture, the food. So just really, really checked all my boxes.
So you two also have a YouTube channel, Shawn and Belize, which I think is great. I think a lot of videos. The last one, the scooter ride, was pretty cool. You know, just watching you bump around.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. I started that kind of just a way to keep connected with family and everything. But I started putting some information about moving to Belize, and I also have on there really cool things to go and see, whether you're coming on vacation or thinking about moving here or just want to see some cool stuff. I just try and put it out there, and when people request stuff, I wanted to be going to a lot more places, but I had a lot of car trouble, and we'll get there.
So you obviously you had the opportunity to retire before me and my wife's now medically retired. I'm still have 4 years. Can't wait to get down there. And you're one of your first sets of videos was the how-to, which I thought was absolutely amazing. How difficult was it to do everything that you had to do?
It really wasn't that bad. I didn't put tons of planning into it. I did put a lot of thought and a lot of research into it. So there were different ways to come. As you know, there's a QRP program, which is for retired persons. That's all changing now. They have new rules coming out for that. But once I realized I'm not bringing boats and planes and all kinds of stuff, I decided I wanted to come on permanent residency and work towards eventually citizenship. So I came down, I packed pretty much just a few suitcases, threw them in the back of my truck with my dog, and headed on down.
You know, I tell my wife, and I tell a lot of people that I met that, when I talk about Belize, your story. And I think one of the most hilarious stories that I've heard you talk about was the time that your car broke down in Belize and that young fella helped you out. Can you share for our audience that quick story?
It actually broke down on my way to Belize in Mexico. And I took a route that everyone tells you, don't take the coast, don't drive at night. And I was coming down with someone. We took a crossing that we had to take in Matamoros, which at the time, do not travel warnings all over the place. I had to leave the people I came with because they were having car trouble. Next day, turns out I have car trouble. I'm in the mountains, no tourist areas whatsoever. No one speaks English, and my car was overheating. It's 7 o'clock at night. There's construction going on, so I had to pull over to the side of the road. Thankfully, I speak enough Spanish to get through Mexico. Maybe not to live there, but to get through. and a kid was selling plantain chips, and I told him I needed to save my money for a mechanic. He ended up bringing someone back to me who was just a taxi driver. He's looking at my car and he knew nothing about cars. So he was like, follow me. I'm like, you know a mechanic that's open at 7 p.m. at night around here? And he's like, just follow me. And I was like, I'm either dying on the side of the road or wherever this guy's taking. One way or another, I'm probably going to die tonight. So he took me to the back of this little neighborhood. And when I say the back, it was the last house in the neighborhood and then a ravine down into the mountains and stuff.
And you thought that's where your body was going.
Yeah, that was it for me. But it was actually a mechanic. To make a long story short, nobody spoke English, although he started watching a YouTube video in English on how to find my thermostat and take it out. And then I called him out. I'm like, you probably all speak English. And then they just started telling me all the curse words they know in English. But he fixed my car, got me back on the road for 500 pesos, which is about $25 US dollars. And definitely a good experience. Everyone was so nice, even in these areas where there's, don't travel. It's horrible. There's so much crime. Everyone was great. So getting here was, although it was a little bit of an adventure because of the route I took and the problems I had, everyone was great.
So a lot of people mentioned about, it's obviously your choice if you want to bring your vehicle down or not, but most likely they say no, because I guess Belize just doesn't have the technology that they do here in the States and even in Mexico. So how do you think that fared? I mean, now I saw you went and got a moped. So how is it working out? I mean, do you recommend people do it, or?
It depends on where you're at and what your vehicle is. So if you're moving like you're planning to go to Ambergris Caye, you obviously can't have a vehicle there, or you can't have a car or truck. So it would be pointless to bring one down. Now, shipping a golf cart to Ambergris Caye or a side-by-side might be a viable option, but you have to have permits in place and approval to bring it before you do. You can find something like that cheaper in America. However, you're going to be taxed and have duty on it when you bring it. So it's going to bring it up to the price that you would have paid here. But you know, you're getting a better quality here. You can find different vehicles like Mahindras and Hiluxes that you can't get in the United States. Hilux though is over $40,000. It's just an indestructible vehicle. I have an older vehicle, so I didn't get killed on duty. It's a 2006 pickup truck, nothing special, no bells and whistles for them to really overcharge me, and I had a great customs broker to help with that. My thing is, I had a vehicle that I felt would be perfect for here. It's 4-wheel drive, 6-cylinder, a locking tonneau cover over a bed that I could bring all my stuff. So it worked out perfect for me. I would suggest if you have an older vehicle, it could work. If you have a new Jeep Wrangler 4-door, you're gonna get taxed on it. It's gonna be almost like buying your own vehicle a second time. So that's something that you have to weigh and decide.
So talking about taxes, that's one of the things that I'm sure a lot of people ask. Do you get a tax-free move your first time? I thought I heard that somewhere. Is that not true?
No, it's for QRP. You can bring in for 1 year vehicles, boats, airplanes, and household goods for duty free.
So how did you decide to go down there? Are you at the QRP? Or what road are you taking?
After looking into everything, I decided on permanent residency. At the time, it just makes everything so much easier. If for some reason I saw a business opportunity and wanted to work down here, it's just so much easier. I don't have any plans to work. I don't have any special skills. But if a business opportunity arose and I saw it, I would want to be able to jump on it. It's something you can't necessarily do under QRP.
So moving out there, did you purchase land? And if so, where did you buy land at?
So I purchased land in Habanero section in which is about 9.5 miles north of San Pedro town. I have 2 properties. After I bought one, there was one next to it that was still for sale. And after I worked tons of overtime on COVID, so let me pick up this piece too. So the plan was to sell the second piece of property I bought. The first piece that I fell in love with, I would build on that, and I would stay in Placencia or somewhere on the mainland. I ended up in Placencia. So I could travel and do everything I wanted while my house got built. I figured it would take about a year to design it and have it built. So I plan to spend a year on the mainland. One of those pieces of property are sold already, and I listed the other one because I just really fell in love with the mainland and where I'm at now.
So let me ask you this: who was the person, the realtor that you went with, and also did you decide whether you were going to build a stick? Because I think you could do stick, you can do on site, you can have it barged in. And are you going to do, what kind of structure is it going to be? You going to be cement or?
So everything was so fluid at the time when I purchased the land. Originally, the plan was to build a Mennonite style wood house, 8 to 9 feet above the ground. Lumber prices since then have risen so much, and they kind of came down a little, but it's almost worth it if you're that close to the sea, and from what I'm seeing here, to build with cement. Not only because it's safer for the winds and everything else, but it lasts longer, and insurance is an issue. It's very difficult to insure a wood structure, a wood house, and the prices are so much higher than cement. So some options are, if you're building like that here, as you know, you're not going to get a 30-year mortgage like you're used to in America or Canada, where you walk into the bank with nothing and zero money and they just hand you a house and land. Here it's pretty much cash. So if you're building your own house, there's no requirements that you have insurance on it unless you're renting it out as an Airbnb or registered with the Belize Tourism Board for some reason. So some people just keep money in the bank, and hey, if the wind blows and roof gets knocked off, I know I got to pay for it.
Since retirement, how has it been? How has life been for Shawn out in Belize?
Oh, the stress level is almost non-existent. Belize is a different country, and you have to come here with a different attitude. You know, we're from the same area. You're in Philly, it's a city. New Jersey, everything's rush, rush, rush. Here, that doesn't happen, especially with government. Everything is slowed down. Everything operates different. And you just have to be able to sometimes just shrug that off, and it is what it is, and have the patience and an understanding of that to just wait things out and enjoy life. Like, why get too mad? I live in paradise. You know, that scene behind you there is something I'm looking at every day. Maybe not the San Pedro one, but
Was it hard to adjust to that lifestyle?
no, not for me. I mean, there's still things that come up where it's like, well, why does this happen here? But it's almost comical. You just have to laugh, shrug it off, and take a look at that sea and the palm trees, and it's a small price to pay for living in paradise.
You know, I sit at home a lot, and I'm trying to remember the live stream. I don't know if it was the blue grill or blue water grill. They have a live stream. You can watch it on YouTube. And my wife's every day, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to retire. Oh, why can't we retire now?" But like our plan is, our son, you know, is going into high school next year, 4 years. You know, next year I go to the pension board. I got 3 and we're out, you know. So like we envy you, man. Like, you know, we're seeing your videos and it's like, oh my God, I can't wait. And Daryl and his wife Angela, the Gibsons, it's just you guys are living a life, dude. You know what I mean? I might say, hey Shawn, since you have law enforcement experience, can you come to Philly? Let me take over for me.
Yeah, I was checking in with Daryl this morning. Yeah, Yeah, it's funny, you make these connections, and he's in San Pedro right now and I'm down here. The plan was for me to live out there. He would have been my neighbor. But I really just fell in love with it here. It's so easy for me to hop in my truck and go to Belmopan or go to Sleeping Giant, go to Boca Huina, or go check out these waterfalls, drive to Punta Gorda, San Ignacio, and end up home the next day or spend a night somewhere. And I still have everything here that I would have on the island. The reef is just a little bit further for me. So you could have a nice 5-minute boat ride on a speedboat to the reef. It takes me a little bit longer, 30 minutes to an hour, about an hour.
So you're living your life. You're retired. You're living in paradise. And everybody says you come to Belize, you're living in paradise. So is there anything, although you're living in paradise, is there anything that you miss in the United States?
Can't find good pizza here. Coming from New Jersey, especially Trenton, New Jersey, I'm a pizza snob, right? We got the best tomato pie. There's not good pizza. And people will tell you, it's good. You got to try this place. You got to try this. Okay. It might be good Arkansas pizza, but or wherever, but it's not New Jersey. Pizza, tomatoes, and pork roll.
Yes, I can vouch on pork roll.
It was kind of funny when I bought my scooter. You buy a vehicle in New Jersey, especially, but other places you buy it from a dealer and they can do the tags for you, and you just call your insurance. But here, for me to register that vehicle, I only have a certain amount of time, and I have to drive to the capital of my my district, which is over an hour away in a car, but on a scooter, it could be a 3-hour drive on highways, and I didn't want to do that. So because they have to inspect the vehicle and all that. But if I bought it with financing, they would do all that for me. Well, I have to have it like America. So I actually negotiated with them for a half an hour so that they would do it the way I'm used to. And ended up giving me a transferable title like a week later so that I could get it done when transport came to my village. So it's funny. I try and make things work the way I'm used to at home. Some things you can't, some things you absolutely can't, but when you can, there's a lot of play with things down here. You just got to talk to people and make connections, and you can get things worked out.
In one of your first videos, I want to bring up again, because I have the same issue. You had the naysayers like, don't go out there, you're gonna come back. Bah, bah, bah. Seeing everything like the time of the life that you're having now, and I'm sure your family and friends who were the naysayers that were saying this, seeing what you're doing now, did any of them guys recant their stories?
Oh yeah, they see the life I'm living. They're like, that's it. He did a good job. Like a lot of the naysayers, you go on these Facebook groups and everyone says rent for a year. And I get that part of it, because if you invest in a house, it's real easy to buy a house here. It's real easy to buy land and have a house built. It's not as easy to sell a house. So selling land's one thing. Selling an actual house can take time, because you built that house or you bought the house because you love it. It might not be what somebody else wants, and you might not have the value in it that you think you're going to have. So my plan coming here was to build a house eventually, right? But I'm trying to get in a mindset where renting is a good option. I live in a little shack now because it was temporary. I always call it a shack. It's a very small house. I will put out a video once I move, because right now everything's out. I'm actually moving into a more modern apartment because I decided renting isn't bad. Things break down here. There's salt water just kills everything. So let it be someone else's problem. I'll have a set rent and just enjoy life and call the landlord when something breaks.
It's funny you mentioned about renting over buying, but my philosophy is, and I had mentioned to people that my wife and I, we purchased our land off of Will Mitchell, and we're in the Grand Belizean Estates, by the way. And let's say it didn't work out. You can always use that as an investment property, right? And just block out days you ever want to come back down. So in all reality, still purchasing a home besides the wear and tear repairs that you have to do really wouldn't be a bad idea though, still.
It is. A lot of people, I'm watching a lot of people on a lot of these sites saying, oh, I'm going to build a house. I'm going to do an Airbnb. I'm going to rent it out. With the amount of people that have been buying the past year, in the next 2 years, the market's going to be saturated. So you really have to have something special and different to attract people, because the occupancy rates right now really aren't going to pay for a house. And my thing is, I started looking at what's it going to cost to build, and it would take me over 20 years to recover that. And if you're off grid, even longer, because you're going to be replacing batteries and stuff every 5 years or so. You have a young kid, and it's now you have this land, and if you build now, you have something to leave him, right? So in that way, it's good. It can go on forever, but for me right now, the renting is it's working out pretty well. So I'm watching. I saw somebody build a house here in 4 months, and I have another friend who is on 18 months at this point, and every week it's it should be done in 2 weeks. So it's really interesting to see the different builds go on now that you're actually living here.
I had to throw this out, and not against you, but some of the, like when I joined that Expats page, and there was it threw me back that there was a lot of negativity, and I'm not going to throw names out on this website or on this video, but and a lot of these people are like, they're not the native people of Belize. What's going on out there?
There's a couple different things. And I think part of it is you get some people who come here, they got their little piece of paradise. They don't want anyone else coming, so they're going to try and discourage people from actually making a move and staying here. Right. I see people complaining in San Pedro about, oh, great, somebody's buying property. There's more properties for sale. People are going to turn down trees of our beautiful island. Okay, well, you got your piece though, right? These are people who live there. You got your piece. You tore down your trees, but don't want anyone else. So that's one factor is once you get here, and it's they call it the jewel. You want to protect your jewel. You don't want anyone else coming and crowding you.
But
that's
people don't.
You do see that from time to time, but there are just miserable people in the world.
One thing though, that speaking with the people I purchased from what I understand, there's an agreement with the country of Belize that there has to remain a certain percentage to remain at its natural state. So
absolutely. And that's one thing. Belize is like the exact same size and almost shape of New Jersey. New Jersey, I think, has over 9 million people. Belize has about 400,000. And you look out in these great expanses of jungle and savanna and islands, and yeah, it's pretty amazing.
One of the to finish it off, one of the sour grapes on the one page mentioned me, and you and I can relate on this. Why don't you ask a question about cheesesteaks? Let's talk about Philly cheesesteaks for a second, because I don't think when people come to Philadelphia, first thing they think is Pat and Gino's and stuff like that. My thing is you find some of the best cheesesteaks in your local corner pizza parlors. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely. And it's Gino's, by the way.
You like Gino's? You're a Gino's guy?
Absolutely.
How about this? Have you ever had Steve's?
Gino's is the one with all the lights and colors and stuff, right?
Yeah, and they're diagonal. Gino's and Pat's are
diagonal. Yeah, Gino's. Pat's just tasted to me like any pizza place cheesesteak you can get anywhere. But for me, it's Gino's, and I know I'll probably catch crap for that out of those two. But the best cheesesteak in Philly is not in Philly.
Where we go?
Watch the Goldbergs. You gotta go to Donkey's in Camden. There's one in Medford now, but Donkey cheesesteaks.
I'll have to give that a shout. Unfortunately, now my own slice of paradise is my campground in New Jersey and
Right,
on
yeah.
the Driftwood. So that's unfortunately that's my thing. My wife gets to stay there for the summer once my son graduates, but unfortunately I still got to go back and forth to work. But yeah, hey Shawn, I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your retirement to come chat with me today. I think it was great. Hey, is there possible that you could give us a shot outside the windows there? What's it look like or what?
Let's see what we can do. So just unplugged. So like I said, I live in a pretty little shack here. And I got the gardeners here today. I have a nice veranda, and you'll see out here. I don't live on the beach. I'm just off the beach.
Very, very cool.
So I'm kind of tucked back in a lagoon canal area. So it's very woodsy back here. It's almost a little jungle.
Nice. Very cool. But like you said, you're in a third world paradise country, dude.
Oh, absolutely. For this, I pay $450 US a month.
Wow. And what does that include?
Really nothing. I mean,
welcome to paradise.
It does not include. It said that it included Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi is in another house like 50 yards away upstairs, so that's not reaching here. I pay electricity, and other than that, so I pay for internet and electricity, but water, I believe there's a septic system here, so yeah, that's all covered.
Well, I'm glad I finally, I mean, you and I texted a bunch of times, and we finally get to meet, via the internet this way.
Yeah, it's first face to face, but we probably both feel like we know each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Each other's videos and texting.
I love watching the videos. I enjoy watching your guys' videos out there because I want to see. I love seeing out there. The only thing is I got to do is I got to get Daryl and Angela out to my spot in the Grand Belizean Estates, because now my property where the
video not too long ago, somebody posted the one you were telling me to look for.
Yeah, Dolce Sueños. I'm diagonal from that.
Yeah, so somebody posted a video from there not too long ago.
Yeah. Shawn, it's been great having you on, and I appreciate you taking time. Again, for anybody out there that watches this, the Belizean expats, hit me up, get you on here. I mean, everybody has their own little story to tell about how they got to Belize and why. So again, do you want to give any shout outs to any of your friends, family that been watching this and the people in Belize?
Nah, screw them. But make sure you subscribe to Shawn and Belize.
Shawn and Belize, yeah, he's got a lot of great videos, spoke about a lot of the great delicacies out there. Now that rat meal, what was that called?
Gibna.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, there is a season for gibna, but a lot of these some of my friends came from living in the bush, so they'll eat it year round. And
like their pizza.
Well, yeah, it's not a pizza, almost like a Christmas ham. I don't know. It's to me, it was almost like the white meat of pork. Yeah, it's a cool video. Definitely check it out. And I had it stewed, but there's sometimes you can get it barbecued and smoked and all that.
All right, brother. Well, time is running out for us. Again, be safe out there, have a lot of fun, and don't forget to mention Johnny Belize too on your YouTube channel. And next thing you know, dude, we'll be going through the roof.
Yeah, you should definitely come down for a vacation since you're not retiring.
We're looking forward to it, maybe next year or something like that. See how everything pans out.
Scrap that cruise, jump on a plane, come on down.
Yep. Shawn, take care. Be safe out there, buddy. And again, don't forget to subscribe to Shawn and Belize and watch all his great videos. And we'll see you soon, Shawn.
All right, you too. Be safe and get to retirement, bub.
See you, brother.
All right.